just to introduce myself, so Malcolm Farrell is my name. I'm the CPO for Group 5, a construction company in South Africa. And today I would like to share with you the aspects of a collective body of thought and from CPOs around South Africa, and how we can stimulate the debate on the topical issues that are facing CPOs in South Africa. So the Chartered Institute for Purchase and Supply, as the professional body in South Africa, looking after the procurement profession, the training aspects, etc. We had our first CPO Roundtable discussion, which took place about 2 months ago, attended by a number of CPOs from major corporates in South Africa. And we discussed a couple of issues around what the CPO is facing in South Africa. What came out of that forum was some specific aspects that we need to have a look at, where SIPs can play a role in driving the professional body. The one thing that we wanted to do as well is to create a forum whereby CPOs and their first tier of reports can contribute towards discussion topics through an online platform. So what we have done is we've created a forum on LinkedIn called the CPO Roundtable for South Africa. And CPOs are invited to participate in this forum, to post discussion topics, to contribute to the discussion topics of postings from other organizations. And so we can contribute to the shared body of learning and best practices that are taking place out there. One of the key topics we discussed at the first roundtable is the role that the buyer has to play in South Africa. And the buyer, traditional buyer, is schooled in first world procurement principles, and that is price, quality, performance and cost. But from a South African buyer perspective, there is this developmental aspect that is so critical to the relationship. And the South African buyer is responsible for channeling billions of rands towards the small business sector, towards black-owned businesses, towards black women-owned businesses. And the buyer in South Africa doesn't yet fully embrace their responsibility in that area. And I think there's a whole aspect of training that needs to take place, first within the procurement fraternity, if we are collectively going to achieve at building a healthy and sustainable small business economy in South Africa. And then there's the new aspect that is introduced by the new codes of good practice, or the proposed new codes of good practice that are coming out, and that is this aspect of supplier development. So the new codes of good practice, I've had an opportunity to have a look at them, and I think that they are solid in their objective, and that is to drive transformation, to drive skills development, and to drive the creation of a sustainable and a healthy small business sector. And all of those contribute towards the employment growth objectives that government has for our country. Now, where does the procurement professional kick in with this? Is that they need to understand their responsibility for supply development. At the last SIPS conference, we ran a campaign around the whole aspect of the best comment for enterprise development. And the comment that won was simple, yet it was profound. It said, today's investment in enterprise development is tomorrow's security of supply. And that was a tweet that was posted by a procurement professional from Eskom. Now, if all the buyers across South Africa are going to embrace that responsibility for enterprise development or supplier development, they need to understand what it is that they've got to do. So if we have a look at some of the good things that we've done in the organization that I work for, Group 5, you take the King Shaka International Airport. We had different aspects focusing on supply development. The first aspect was where we appointed a big brother contractor, and we required that big brother contractor to impart skills onto the small brother. And so there was an element of skills transfer, but it was measured, so that we made sure at the end of the day that we had a successful transformation in respect of that area. The other approach to supply development was where we as an organization took on the responsibility ourselves for supply development. And together with the small business, we had a look at what they were missing. Where were their areas of developmental requirement? So take as an example, a company that came along, they were small, they had the capability, but they didn't have the cash flow to manage a contract of this size. And then we stepped in to help them procure the raw materials so that they could then go and execute that contract. And they successfully executed the contract without any commercial disadvantage to the project. But we needed to provide the assistance. And that's true supply development, true economic empowerment.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.